All right, and the countdown has started in about 5 seconds. And there it is. Good to go. So the beginning of this game is pretty standard as far as RPGs go. It's going to be a lot of just some exposition at the start, just trying to tell you the story of what's going on. This opening cutscene is a minute and 8 seconds of, hey, check out, we're in Onet, a small town in Eagle Land, which is either USA or England. It doesn't really matter. But the main thing you have to know is the story, as far as if you're not familiar with the story. Ness, who is sleeping in his game, in his bed, is woken by the shaking of a large meteorite crashing somewhere nearby. And you know, there's sirens and stuff, so you go to check it out, as any RPG hero would want to do, because that's how you start every adventure. But the first thing you're going to see them do, you're going to see them walk into Tracy's room, which is Ness's sister, and she has a present in there. Presents are how chests look in this game. Instead of it being like a treasure chest, there's these little presents that are neatly wrapped up. You open it, there's a cracked bat inside. They're going to equip it, and they're going to walk out. The reason to do this is, A, it's a piece of equipment that we need for higher offense, but also, coming up soon, there'll be Pokey, who is going to obstruct our path. He'll be knocking on our door, and he'll be obstructing our path, and we need that cracked bat equipped to skip a large bit of text where he says, hey, why don't you have a weapon or something like that. He gets real mad at you, so we do it there because it's quickest, and also because we need it, because we need the offense. Very temporarily we need the offense, but we need it nonetheless. Then they have to walk to the top of this hill, talk to the aforementioned Pokey, who is this chubby neighbor kid who is real nosy and pretty annoying, to be honest. There he is. Tells you to not be rubbernecking, because why would you ever do that? And then he's just like annoying all the cops at the same time. So Flesh with a slight lead, just because Toucan messed up his equip. This run's not like so tight though, that in terms of like optimized seconds and stuff like that, just because it's just an RNG heavy run, that this lead is really substantial, but it is just worth noting. And yes, if you were to play this casually, every single NPC has something interesting to say. There's a lot of great dialogue in this game. It's very well written. It's like the biggest charm of this game is the writing and everything that goes along with it. Hunter asks Daniel, did anyone recently world record this category? Hunter is being nice and asking if someone recently did. Yes, the answer is yes. 2 days ago, a new world record was set for this category, 103.29, by some jerk named Daniel RGT, who may or may not be talking right now. But so Pokey ends up at your door. He's knocking. He's like, man, listen, the cops, they left, and now I can't find my brother. Please, you gotta help me find my brother. Come on, dog. You just gotta help me out. So you talk to your mom, who says, go get dressed, though, because she's a responsible mom who is letting her son go out in the middle of the night when a meteorite just crashed and the police were looking into it. She says, as long as you're dressed, it's okay. Doesn't matter to me. Flesh here with about like a second or two lead, just from like optimal movement and stuff. Toucan has been bonking into walls. No, I did not verify my own run, Seawalker. I made, anytime a world record is set by myself, which has happened on occasion, I make sure it's someone else that verifies it. So the last thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to talk to the phone, which is their dad. This is the dad you'll never see. He is the phone. For all intents and purposes, he probably just is the phone. People say you never see your dad. He's right there. He's the phone. He's all phones. So Flesh is out here first. We're gonna see what he's gonna do. So there's 3 different types of enemies on the hill. There's crows, snakes, and dogs. Each of these enemies has their own unique way of moving. And you'll see it right now. Dogs will move straight at Ness if you get into their aggro radius. Meanwhile, crows move in a left and right pattern, but as a result, they can only move in a left and right pattern. So you can use this to abuse their movement and get them stuck on things, like you just saw Toucan do. Flesh tried to do the same thing, but he bonked on the tree, and unfortunately he just got red swelled by the crow. Crow is not a good fight. It's probably the worst fight you can get on the hill. Ness currently has 2 speed. I'm putting something into perspective for you. Ness has 2 speed. The Crows have 77 speed. So they have a 75 speed advantage. Meanwhile, Toucan also getting red swirled by the Crow. And it's really not a good look. Meanwhile, Flesh, he got into the Crow fight, but he actually took no damage, which is best case scenario when a thing like that happens. Toucan, meanwhile, getting hit once. The advantage is that they both got a cookie drop, which I believe is, if it's not 100%, it's pretty close to 100%. But it also, after this next boss fight, normally if you fought no enemies, you'd be one experience point away from level 3. Well, they got 3 experience from fighting those Crows, so they're both going to be level 3 going into the rest of ONET. So it's a time loss, obviously, and it's a big deal, but it does give them a little bit of an advantage later. So and both of them got through relatively unscathed. So it's pretty good that happens. Crows can be a nasty fight. So Crows have 77 speed, like I said, so they're much faster. They'll always go first. And also they can steal things from you, like steal consumable items like hamburgers and bread rolls and stuff. Which is one of the reasons why we don't pick up the bread roll on the hill, which you're about to see both of these runners pick up. If you pick up that bread roll before, which you can, the present's there at all times, you can get into a Crow fight and he can steal it. And that bread roll is pretty useful for the rest of ONET. So Toucan with about like a 30-second lead here. He got into the Crow fight too, but he was farther up the hill and he was able to get through it a little bit cleaner. But Flesh not doing too bad of a job himself. I mean, they both, considering all things considered, they're not that far apart. This 30 seconds can melt away in ONET real quick. You can lose minutes to dying to a lot of things. So spawns are turned off while on the walk down, so you don't have to worry about getting into a fight on the way down. Even if spawns were on, you have Buzz with you, and Buzz is a far more powerful being than Ness is right now. Unfortunately, Buzz, we're about to fight the first boss of the game, Starman Jr. So this boss is hardly you can really call it a boss because you can't lose. Except for like really elaborate setup to lose, which involves grinding until you can either place a shield on yourself to replace the psychic shield that Buzz will place on you, or to get your health so low and keep an enemy spawned on screen and then die to it. You can't skip this fight. Actually, there's one more way, but it's task only. So the main things you're gonna be looking for Starman to do, you do not want him to do fire. You can't lose because you have a psychic shield, but fire wastes the most amount of time. Buzz has 2 attacks. He can do a weak or a strong attack. He smashed there for 150, and Starman has 200 health, so he's got about 50 health right now, minus like the 4 damage or so that Picky and Ness have done to him so far. The fast attacks that you want Starman to do are to guard. Guard is as fast as possible action. Fire is obviously, Flesh there just got one of the guards. Toucan having a 2 cycle, which is really, really good. Flesh, I think Buzz hit for about 87, which can still potentially be a 2 cycle, but it's a little bit more inconsistent. He needs the charge forward to hit for like about 110, 108, something like that. It's if Buzz decides to charge forward. Buzz can hit for a weak amount and it can take longer, so we call them cycles. He attacked 70, so he's gonna have a 3 cycle, as opposed to Toucan's 2 cycle, which is obviously a lot faster. And the fires waste a lot of time, so you can just bleed time at Starman even if you have a really good hill. And it's looking like Flesh is for sure getting that 3 cycle no matter what. And Starman's not doing him any favors, doing a lot of fires, and fires just look at all that text got up here. It's just wasting all that time. Now he gets to smash when it's the most worthless. That's the Earthbound special. Give you something really nice when it doesn't matter at all. And if you remember, Buzz was able to cast Psychic Shields and kill Starman Jr., who was attacking from the future, but his one weakness, which is Lardna Minch, has slain him. So there's going to be some exposition here, and this is Buzz telling you to start your adventure. And he's going to give you something called the Soundstone, which will retain the melodies that you get at each of your sanctuary locations, 8 in total. We won't be seeing anything but this first one in Boogie Percent, because Boogie Percent is a partial run category. Boogie Percent ends when you kill Boogie Tent and receive the Fly Honey. in 3. So the only Sanctuary boss you're going to see is here in Nonet, which would be a Giant Step, and the boss there is Titanic. We're not quite there yet. There's still 2 bosses in between, technically. Although you could count them as 1 boss and 2 enemies. Toucan having a nice clean walk into Nonet. There's going to be enemies that spawn there, and you have to react accordingly, but we call it the zoo because there's still crows, snakes, and dogs and stuff. He's going to be picking up this Mr. Baseball cap. He's probably going to be equipping it. Nope. He's going to try to equip it and then accidentally hit a bunch of other menus and then equip it. And the reason for that is we're not actually going to... we don't actually plan to wear this later on. We're going to sell this. But one of the nice things about Earthbound is when you buy a new piece of equipment, he offers to equip it for you. So if you buy a new hat, which we're about to do, a baseball cap in particular, he'll say, do you want to equip it? And you say yes. And he'll also buy the old one off of you. And that's what Toucan will be doing here. So first he's going to buy a T-ball bat, which is going to be more offense for us, which will be better. Then he'll sell a cracked bat. And now he's going to buy that baseball cap, which means we lose 1 defense, but we get $99. And with that $99, we could buy the treat bracelet, which gives us 12 total defense, as opposed to the 8 we would have had we only had the Mr. Baseball cap. Now, Toucan here, we'll see what he does. So he's doing this movement here. He walks behind the hospital and then to the right like that. He did it incorrectly, though. He didn't move far enough to the left. The intention is to despawn sharks that appear there. But unfortunately, if you don't go far enough left, the sharks will still spawn. We're going to be fighting this guy out front. He's called the Pogo Punk. He'll be pretty self-explanatory because he's on a pogo stick. And he's a punk. But because they both fought a crow, this Pogo Punk is not nearly as scary as he normally would be, on top of having just a really good Pogo Punk fight. Pogo Punks have a weak and strong attack. That's a common theme you'll see across enemies in Earthbound. You know, charging forward is a strong attack, and usually if he charges forward first turn, it's bad news. But Toucan getting some really good luck. He did 2 weak attacks and he missed with one of them. So he was able to heal up to full with that can of fruit juice, which is optional. And meanwhile, the second Pogo Punk, we'll see what happens. Oh, he missed. Ness doing his job and missing like a champ. Meanwhile, Flesh, you see here doing the hospital movement. He did it correctly. And now there's no sharks. There's no sharks here at the bottom. So we'll see how his Pogo Punk goes. He also is level 3, so he's looking for just to not get charged forward. The charge forward miss, which is good. He's having a good Pogo Punk fight. Nice. He only took a weak damage. Meanwhile, back on Toucan's, we're looking at the Yes Man Jr. Don't ask me why he's called that, because I don't know. It's just real strange. He's got a hula hoop. He swings it at you. Hula hoop is a strong attack. So I don't think Toucan has used his bread roll yet. Oh, he did. Okay, never mind. Or he doesn't realize he uses bread roll. Normally, we save the bread roll for these fights in particular, because we don't want to have to use our psychic points. But in this situation, Toucan opted for a life up. Maybe just out of pure habit. Yeah, he didn't use the bread roll. He forgot. So that's a little bit of a... He's a little rusty there probably. But here's Frank. So the way Frank works is if he ever hits you, you need to heal the next turn instantly. You have no choice. You see this weak attack he just did? You're going to have to heal. Has to heal right now. It's real stupid. He's a real dumb boss. He has a turn he can do where he doesn't hit you. It's very rare. In terms of like, oh my god, that burger roll is so terrible. This needs to hit. He's dead here, but it needed to hit. If Ness had missed, Toucan was dead. Meanwhile, Flesh about to start Frank right now as well. So you see, Flesh is going to bash the first turn. He's at full health. Frank hit him. Oh, he smashed him. Oh no, he needs the turn waste. If he doesn't turn waste, he's dead. Oh, the weak attack. He's so lucky. Frank smashed him. That's super rare. It's not very common for Frank to smash you. But man, it really sucks when he does. But Flesh getting some good luck and surviving. He looked flustered. He didn't really realize what his options were. The options are to just pray. You just have to hope it works well. Toucan here on Frankenstein, which is the second part of this fight. He's at 3 HP. Frankenstein, every other turn he wastes. So his first turn, he's going to blow off steam. His second turn, he's going to punch you. And then his third turn, he'll blow steam. And then his fourth turn, he can either punch you or tear into you, which is a weak or strong attack. And then he'll oscillate between wasting a turn and then hitting you. Wasting a turn and then hitting you. So you'll see Flesh abusing that here. The wasted turns are every other turn. So those are good chances to heal when you know you're safe. So he knows he's safe here at 29. Because even if he gets tore into... which would be the strong attack, which would kill him. he can get his burger off in time because of the scrolling HP mechanic. Meanwhile, Toucan getting the heal at Frank, which is smart. He had 3 HP and no psychic points, so you walk out of you walk back into the arcade and then back out and talk to Frank, and he gives you a full heal. Flesh really not that far behind. He's probably still about 30 seconds behind Toucan, I'd say. And then Toucan here now, he's talking to the mayor of Onett, Mayor B.H. Perkle, and he's going to give you a key to the shack, which is just a plot device to advance the story. There's a shack in the way of Giant Step, and you need the key to it to get inside. And so the way you get the key is you kill Frank, but you kill his robot, I guess. I don't think his tank is there anymore after you destroy it. And then you're going to see Toucan walking to the drugstore, and he's going to be withdrawing a bunch of money because he needs to buy a bunch of safety burgers because this is a race and not non-manipulated PB attempts. In a glitchless run, you'll see some runners manipping on that. Manip is not allowed in Boogie Percent. Boogie Percent's a race category, and not everybody knows manipulation. And also, if one person lands manipulation and the other person doesn't, it's a free race for the person who landed the manipulation. So, in order to make it accessible for everybody and keep everyone on a level playing ground, manipulation is not allowed in Boogie Percent. But normally in Onett you would be manipulating here. Oop, Toucan forgetting how many burgers he has to buy to be full. And Toucan's going to be making his way to Giant Step. So Giant Step, unfortunately for Boogie Percent, this is the only grinding section in the run. This is what the manipulation would normally cut out if it were allowed. Unfortunately, we have to bear through it. So Starman Manip's not allowed. 0 manipulation is allowed. No, not everyone even knows Starman Manip. So just no manipulation at all. It's unfair to people who don't know it. And it's also unfair to the people who manipulation can be fickle and can drop for no reason sometimes, and so it's not fair to those people who don't know it and stuff like that. So everyone's on a level playing field in Boogie Percent. Meanwhile, Toucan here, he's looking for slugs. So he needs to grind 22 slugs to hit level 8. So this is the first pack of 4. They usually spawn in packs of 4. Sometimes they spawn in weird little cutoff packs of 2 or 3. Which is just sort of like a weird quirk of how the spawning plate system works. The reason Toucan's not auto-fighting here is because Ness doesn't have quite enough offense to consistently kill these slugs in one hit. So you don't want to auto-fight and then have him hit a slug and then leave it alive. So that's 4 slugs, which means he needs 18 now to hit 22 slugs to level 8, remember. So Flesh just got his first pack, in which Toucan just finished up his first pack, so they're really not that far behind. The slug grind generally determines the pace of your Onett, what type of Onett you're going to get, and who gains and loses the lead. So you see Toucan here walking in and out of this door, and he's looking for slugs. So he found another 4-pack down there. So this is going to be his pack. He's up to 8 total after this fight. Toucan's still not auto-fighting. I feel like he should, at this point, be auto-fighting. Usually once I gain the first level from the pack of slugs, that's when I start auto-fighting. You can still sometimes not do enough damage to kill slugs. Slugs have 30 HP. Sometimes Ness will hit for 29. It's real frustrating. But I feel like you should be auto-fighting at about on your second pack of slugs. So Flesh using the same strategies, walking in and out of the door. The nice thing about the door is there's a chance for 2 packs of slugs, which means 8 slugs total, to spawn all at once, which is a nice get. Unfortunately, both of them having some pretty lackluster luck. Flesh starting his second 4-pack, putting him at 8. This will be Toucan's 12. Learning how to count via Boogie Percent. This is real good. So Toucan has an option here. So he has 12 slugs. He can start making his way to the top. Hope he gets another 4-pack and then gets a 6-pack at the top. Because slugs can spawn in packs of 6 at the top of Giant Step. We'll see how he wants to play it, though. It's not unsafe to do that, but it is sort of risky in the sense that you don't know if you're going to get the 4-pack on the way. Flesh getting his third 4-pack. So after this, he'll be tied with Toucan in terms of slug grinding. Toucan having a hard time finding the other pack. So we could see Flesh take a lead here. All right, Toucan getting his last 4-pack. He's puts him at 16 slugs. So Toucan has the option of going to the top now and finding a 6-pack of slugs. Once again, it's runner preference. I think it's definitely faster to get the 6-pack up top, just because you make your way upwards and then you fight them at the top and then you're done, right? But it's some runners don't like it, so because they won't always be there. Toucan taking, I think it's still a 4-pack. No, it's a 3-pack. So this puts him at 19 slugs. So now he needs 3 slugs, which is a weird number to get. They don't spawn in packs of 3. They usually spawn in packs of 4. Flesh, recognizing those are slugs. Very well done to him. Now he's on his, I believe this will put him at 16. And I think he might be going towards the top to get the 6-pack. But we'll see what Toucan does. Toucan probably going to make his way up top, hoping for a 4-pack of slugs, to be honest. A 6-pack of slugs wastes a lot of time if you don't actually need it. So we'll see if Toucan can recognize that there's any... those are not slugs. I can tell you right now. Those are ants. Yep. So these are antoids. Antoids suck. Toucan is panicking. Life up on a first turn is not a bad idea. They both called for help and failed, but they can hit for about 12, 13. Which sucks. A lot of the thing that sucks about antoids, apart from calling for help a lot, is that they can heal themselves. They can put themselves back up to full. Unfortunately, 2 antoids does not equal 3 slugs. You do get oh, it does. Okay, I was wrong. So 2 antoids ended up being equal to 3 slugs. That's something I did not know. I learn something new every day. So Toucan's at level 8. He's actually where he needs to be. So he can just stutter past the rest of these enemies. Flesh got the 6-pack he wanted. So once Flesh is done with this, he's going to be ready for Ant. So you notice what Toucan's doing. You'll notice those enemies are moving very slowly towards him, and Toucan's moving very slowly. This is called setter stepping. So the way these enemies work is they only move at Ness when Ness is moving. They only move when you move. But they only move on like the 3rd or 4th frame of Ness's movement. So if you tap a direction and like just tap it like rapidly and stuff, making sure that you're moving in increments of 1 to 2 frames, that will let you get past these enemies and avoid taking a fight. And it's very, very useful in this area of the game, as well as some later ones coming up. Toucan checking his offense there. So in this game, the way it works is if your offense is high enough, the game will do a calculation and say, you know what, your offense is so good that you don't even have to fight these guys. You just fight them and you take the win. You just get free experience. It's yours. You can just have it, buddy. So Toucan making his way to Titanic Ant. This fight sucks. This guy is the worst. This is probably the biggest way to lose time in Boogie Percent is to die to Ant. And there's not a lot you can do about it. So Ant has a bunch of things he can do. He has a weak and strong attack. His weak attack does 23, which is nothing to laugh about, and his strong attack does about 43-ish. He can also crit you. Also, that Rockin' missed. Did you know that Rockin' can miss? Because I do, and now you do too. So the second Rockin' missed, but the first one did 106. Titanic Ant has 235 HP. So Toucan's sitting at about 120, so he's about halfway done with the fight. Toucan's being pretty risky in some of those actions, and he almost used the cookie. It's a good thing he didn't. He has to remember he has that cookie. Titanic Ant also has these spells he can do. Defense Down's the one you want to see. Defense Down does really nothing to you. So it lowers your defense by 1, right? Which means you take 1 more damage. That smash helped a lot. Titanic Ant put up a shield. If you smash an enemy that has a shield, it automatically removes their shield. So that smash was really clutch, and then he clutched it out there for Toucan played that really smart and also got a lot of good luck to go along with it. Meanwhile, Flesh, he's about to start his Titanic Ant fight. He's really not that far behind. If he can get as clean a fight as that, he's really still, it's both anyone's game. So he's going to be doing Rockin' on the first turn. Ant hit him for 21. In general, if Ant hits me, I like to heal. So 60 damage on that Rockin'. Rockin' has his range of 40 to 120. He's going for the second Rockin'. This Magnet, if it hits for 8, oh no, it hit for 8. So Magnet obviously drains your psychic points, and it drained him just enough so he could not do the second Rockin'. And unfortunately, he didn't heal when he had just gotten hit, so he died to Ant. So the reason why every time Ant hits me, I heal is because of that exact situation. If I have 55 HP, which is usually what the HP you'll have after getting hit by Ant's weak attack, if he hits me for 40 something, I'm dead. So I always heal every single turn that Ant hits me like that. The safe range for me is like 65 HP. That's like a safe range for me. And even then, that's not fully safe, because if Ant were to smash, which is a crit, he does 61 damage, because crits are just a pure damage calculation. It's 4 times the user's offense minus the opponent's defense. And so Ant will smash you very often for 61. If you have high defense, it might just be 60. But it's still an insane amount. And unfortunately, Flesh, he was taking a risk, really. He was basically... He wanted to get through the fight. He realized that his second rocket wasn't going to hit because of the magnet. So he only had one rocket and it did 60 damage. So he has 235 HP. So there's still 170 HP left sitting there. So Flesh took a big risk, and unfortunately did not pay off. Toucan now entering the police station. So when you exit Giant Step, there's that sign, "Do not enter," which you just saw on Flesh's screen. The cop shows up and says, "Hey, do you know how to read that sign?" And you're like, "No." And he's just like, "Fine, come to the police station later," which is really a polite way of saying, "Hey, you know, you're in trouble. Come by later." Like, it's real nice, to be honest, you know. But he says, "Come to the police station," and you go to the police, and they're like, "All right, we're gonna beat you up now." He says, "Fight 5 of my best men," and then they just start chopping the crap out of you. They just start beating you up, man. It's real rude. So you're gonna be seeing certain HPs that Toucan's looking at. If he's under 60, he's likely going to use a burger. If he's under about 35, he's likely going to use a life up. But basically, cops have a weak and strong attack. The weak attack is if it just says the cop attacked, and their strong attack is if they use a crushing chop, which is just real rude. It's just real rude. So he's probably going to heal this first turn. He's got about 4 burgers left, which is still good. Cops not being kind, though. You want them to use as much weak attacks as possible or to miss. They don't have any wasted turns or anything like that, so missing is really the best case scenario you can hope for. Nest missing, however, is not the best case scenario. Toucan still has the bread roll. I don't know if he realized that, which actually means that in his burger shopping, he bought 1 less burger than he's normally used to. And he still has a stupid cookie in his inventory, which he's like dodging around, real stupid. So he has to get through 4 cops and then Captain Strong. It's not looking good. He does have psychic points, so he used his last burger here, and now he has 2 life ups to work with, which is good. It's useful. He still doesn't know he has a bread roll. Oh no, he does. Bread roll's not going to do much though. 30 HP. Oh, that is very lucky that it missed. He could have died. 2 misses. That's pretty nice. All right. So if I were Toucan, 52 HP, I don't like that HP. That's a real stupid HP value to be at. I would want to heal. I personally would probably life up just to be safe on this next cop. We'll see what Toucan does. He's going for the hit. He got some HP on that level up. Now he's at 25 HP, which is right. 30 HP. Sorry, I'm real good at counting, you guys. And then he's going to be killing this cop. I'm going to move over to Flesh, who is doing his second Ant attempt. The first rocket does 71 damage. And Ant didn't do anything his first round. I think he did defense down or shield, one of the two. So he's able to get the second rocket off too, and did 80. So he's at about 150 damage right now. I forgot what the first roll was. He's going to use a burger. I would recommend using another burger here. It's very dangerous to have 52 HP against Ant. No, it was a defense down. Yeah, he realized, he saw the HP and says, I don't want this to happen again. Toucan fighting Captain Strong. 2 rockets just takes him out. He's got 140 HP. Rockin's average damage it does is 70 HP. Meanwhile, Flesh taking down Ant, the second Ant fight going a lot cleaner than this first one. And he must be a little annoyed, but breathing a sigh of relief that he didn't die again. So Toucan out with a sub 30 on Ant. That's a little bit above average. The average is about 30 minutes. And Flesh now has to start making his way towards the cops. I didn't really see how many burgers he used, so he might opt to buy some more burgers on the way down to the cops. But his Ant fight was pretty good, so he could probably skip it if he's got enough burgers. Toucan now is going to be making his way to the next town called Tucson. In Glitchless, you would pick up this exit mouse and this burger. He's probably gonna pick up the burger because he's got nothing but a cookie right now. Yep. We need one food item for Apple Kid because Apple Kid's fat and likes food, and I'm not being mean. That's literally it. He wants food, so you give him food and then you give him $200. So Toucan's going to be going into Tucson. He's going to be going into the department store. He's going to be withdrawing $500 or so, and then he's going to save. The reason he's going to save is because we're setting up a death warp. So the nice thing about Earthbound is when you die, you go to where you last saved, but the game still keeps anything that you did before you died. Like, all those flags are still set. So if you were to advance the story and then die, the game respawns you where you last saved. But if you beat a boss, then you beat that boss. It doesn't make you fight the boss again. That already happened. You just died. You can feed him a bottle of water. It's true. You have to give him any consumable item. The bottle of water is something that you can get if you have. I don't really think anyone sells bottles of water here. I don't know. Someone in Bergen Park might sell bottled water. You have to give him some type of food or drink. But we're gonna give him a cookie in this case. Yeah, you lose half your money. Ness loses all his psychic points, and if you have any other additional party members, they're all dead except for Ness. But anything you did before you saved, still before you died, still happened to me. So you see, he says, "By the way, I'm starving. Do you have something to eat? Can I have some?" And then you give him this cookie. The cookie is more coincidental than anything. The cookie he kept from, I believe, he got it from an Antoid in Giant Step. And then now he has to do some story progression. So he has to walk towards the Iron Pencil statue in Peaceful Rest Valley, which is a dangerous area. But he can't get into any fights because we're pretty underleveled for this area already. And anything will kill us. Flesh starting his cops right now. Looking at the first one, we see he's getting some niceness from the cops. They're being pretty kind, doing 3 weak attacks in a row. Didn't have to heal on the first cop yet. He's going to heal on the first turn of the second cop, most likely. And then go from there. But that's always a good start, is when they don't use Crushing Chops very often. That's the best case scenario, other than them missing or Nest smashing and one-shotting them. But yeah, he goes straight for the burger. The Crushing Chop is unfortunate, but the burger roll was pretty high. 59 HP, he can bash. Yeah, he goes for it. And he's probably going to heal on this turn. Yes. So, Flesh's first two cops pretty clean. Meanwhile, Toucan, the Iron Pencil is just above here. He walked pretty high up. There may have been a spawn there. You actually don't have to check the Iron Pencil. You just have to load the Iron Pencil into memory. So there's actually a certain spot that you just walk up to, and that'll trigger the next event, and that's all you need to do. Meanwhile, Flesh, I don't know if you saw it, he got smashed by a cop. Yes, cops can smash too. So can Strong. A lot of enemies can smash. Not every enemy, but a lot of them. 22 HP is not very high. He's probably going to use a life up on this turn, but he's going to need a mash for his life or hope for a weak attack, because it's not easy to mash at 22. It's pretty tough. Oh, he missed. That was really useful. That was really lucky. And then he's going to attack. Nice misses from those cops. This fourth cop, being pretty kind. Oh, Ness missed. Oof. That 29 from the 50 is at 21. 21 is even harder to mash from. It's possible, though. You can mash from about, I think the best I've seen someone mash from a 19. It's not easy, though. It's not easy at all. He's going to need a life up. Strong has a lot of wasted turns. He has turns where he doesn't do anything. So he really needs to hope for one of those right now. Oh, he flashed white. Oh, he missed. What a good miss. What a good miss. So now he's going to use 2 Rockins and hope they add up to 140. So the first one did 84. So now he only needs this one to hit for 66, I believe. That's how that math works. 81. Nice. So Strong down at 34-21. Considering an ant death, that's not a bad time at all. He's making some good time to try and catch up. Toucan, meanwhile, he advanced the story. He's getting the pencil eraser now from Apple Kid. You invest in his inventions, and he gives you a pencil eraser, which erases all pencils. He even tells you don't use it near a pencil shop. So the pencil eraser can erase pencils as a concept more than anything, which makes you wonder what does it define as a pencil? How does it know if it's a pencil or not? So Flesh going to be doing the same thing. He didn't have to use as many burgers as Toucan, so let's see if he skips this hamburger. I highly doubt it, though. It's better to have it than to not have it, but it does save, like, you know, 4 seconds not getting it, something like that. Yeah, he's gonna get it too. So Toucan making his last way over to Peaceful Rest Valley. Peaceful Rest Valley is a terrible place where terrible things happen and people die. It is not an easy place. It is very narrow, very, you know, there's not a lot of room to move, and it's very easy to get pincered by enemies. And a pincer in this game is usually very deadly. Pencils 2 pieces of bread on opposite sides of meat and condiments. I couldn't have said it better myself. So Toucan picking up this butterfly. So instead of staying at a hotel to heal ourselves to full, these butterflies restore 20 psychic points to Ness. And then we'll just heal ourselves because Ness has healing. So there's no need to stay at a hotel and waste that time. So we just pick up 2 butterflies to get ourselves to max psychic points and then move forward. So he erases the pencil. You see how narrow this area is? It's very easy for enemies to spawn ahead of you and behind you and pincer you very quickly. Toucan having a nice go of it, though. Not a lot of enemies in his path. In fact, no enemies in his path. He hasn't even seen enemies. That tree up there is an enemy, the little shaken tree. It's meant to kind of like trick you. He's gonna get this butterfly most likely because he needs 2. So this will be his second one. But otherwise, his Peaceful Rest Valley looking super clean right now. Had a lot of good luck, but also he's just been doing really clean movement, really optimal. He might get a spawn here. Yep. Walking that way, I think, for me personally, I tend to get more spawns on the other side of the bridge. He's walking on the right side of this tree, which I think means there will be more spawns. Nope. Just coincidence. There's certain things I do where, like, I feel like this lessens the chance of spawns, but it could just be the placebo effect. We'll see if he goes for the hard hat. The hard hat is ultimate safety. It's not necessary. I personally wouldn't get it, but he's going to go for it. It's a race, so he wants to be as safe as possible. So I wouldn't get it, but it's not something you can like fault him or say, "Wow, I can't believe he did that." This is the safest possible thing you can do for Happy Village coming up next. So. And then he's just got one last bit of PRV before he walks right into Happy Village. Happy Village is a place that is currently undergoing some renovations because they're all a part of the Happy cult. And the Happy cult believes that blue is the best, and the color blue is so pure and it's fantastic. Toucan having a hard time just getting into Happy Village. There's a lot of UFOs and stuff, but finally able to despawn and get inside. So these snakes here, they can randomly be aggressive. It's like a 50%. It might be less than 50. There's like a 25% chance that they're aggressive. They are aggressive. They'll walk towards you, they'll start a fight with you, and then die instantly because your offense is so high. So he's going to be buying the Sandlot bat and selling it. And because he got the hard hat, he does not need to buy anything else. He's probably going to buy 2 croissants here. As probably as safe as I would go. Yep. Look at Toucan. It's like I'm controlling him somehow. He has to despawn that cultist. So cultist there, you saw that cultist, the little blue hooded guy. Cultists are not a fight you want to be getting into, except for the scripted ones you have to fight. The reason for that is they hit kind of hard and can call for help, but also because they're unrunnable fights. The game flags them as unrunnable because of this fight that Toucan's about to get into right now. It's not a boss fight technically. It does not have a boss swirl, so it's not like any fight with a boss swirl is flagged to be unrunnable. But this is a regular fight because you can fight these cultists anywhere in Happy Village. But the game developers thought, well, how do we make this fight unrunnable then? It's supposed to be a scripted fight. You can't just run from this fight. So they just marked, if you're a cultist, you cannot run away from it. It's literally impossible. There's a 0% chance at all times. That chance never goes up. And now he's going for the so you rocking on the first turn. One of them missed. We'll see if the rocking can kill them. They did 100. They have 94 HP. 98. They have 94 HP. Didn't hit the crow. So he didn't get to live the dream of using one rocket and killing everything. But one rocket and killing both the cultists is pretty close, and it's really good. So he doesn't even really have to heal after this fight if he doesn't want to. He's got 92 HP. There's one more scripted fight before Carpenter, which is the boss of this area. He uses the cookie, says, "I don't want this garbage," and then he's going to make his way into the cultist house in the middle. But that was a really good shack fight. They can call for help and make things real bad for you. It's not a fun time. Let me tell you. So Toucan, one of the things you have to watch out for is spawns on the way to this house. But he had a spawn free, so good stuff. There's a lot of guys in here. You might be freaking out, like, oh god, they're all gonna fight him. But only a select few of these guys actually want to fight. They're mostly in prayer. What caused Flesh to fall so far behind? Unfortunately, Flesh died to Titanic Ant, which is the one of the bosses in Onet, and it was very unfortunate. He just got Titanic Ant's a big RNG point in the run and can be very cruel and unforgiving. And unfortunately, he was that way with Flesh. Toucan having a 2-rounder, which is pretty rare. We'll see if he gets the. So they have a 1 out of 128 chance to drop a PSI Karma, which would restore psychic points. We're not going to see any god luck here today on that one. So Carpainter is this boss here. He is scripted in terms of the order of things he does. His first turn, he's going to shoot lightning at you. His second turn, he's going to heal himself. His third turn, he's going to hit you. Fourth turn, lightning. Fifth turn, he sets up a psychic shield. And then sixth turn, he hits you. And then that repeats forever. So Toucan going to bash here and then probably use Rocket on the next 2 turns. Unless Carpainter kills himself on the first turn. Nope, he'll heal. That 160 reflect was really good. So this second Rocket after the fact might kill him. You want your HP to be a little bit lower at ending this fight because we're going to be doing a death warp after. And like I said, the second Rocket killed him. We'll see what type of HP level ups Toucan gets here. Gets 1 vitality, so 55 HP. Not that bad. It's pretty okay for a death warp. You're going to be death warping off of a mole. And you want to have under 60 HP is generally a good thing. Flesh making his way through Peaceful Rest Valley. We'll see how he handles it. You saw him do a nice despawn there, and we'll see how he handles the rest of it. I don't know if he's gotten his butterflies yet. Unfortunately, I was looking at Toucan, but he got one. He needs that butterfly. Good. Flesh having a pretty good Peaceful Rest Valley so far. You know, he had to do a little despawn, but he did it very well. He's walking up towards there. Okay, we'll see what he gets. Toucan, meanwhile, just has to do some story exposition to get Paula, which is the second character in your party. Flesh skipping the hard hat. I think he knows he's behind, so skipping the hard hat is not a big deal. Hard hat is for ultimate safety, but it's still plenty safe even without it. But Flesh having a really good Peaceful Rest Valley. He played that very well and got some good luck to go along with it. You see there's that snake. It got red swirled, though. Got to pay attention to the direction those snakes are facing. The snake's not going to be that big a deal. He's gonna hit him for 1, and then he's gonna get smashed for 96. What a nerd! But unfortunately, it is a time waste. That 1 HP, I wouldn't worry about. If I were Flesh, I would not worry about healing it or anything. It will be mostly negligible, assuming like average luck. If he gets really bad luck, it could be very important. But Toucan, he's gonna be dropping a bunch of stuff. He's gonna be dropping all the items that he had equipped. He's unequipping everything. He wants to make sure he has as low defense as possible. Like I said, we're going to be death warping, and so if we have more defense, it makes it longer to death warp. So Toucan going to be walking towards. He's the mole playing rough, which he's not rough at all. He's a jerk in that he wastes a lot of our time. He has only 1 physical attack and 2 turn wasters. So if he flashes white, that's what we want to see. We want to see him hit Ness. Hits Paula, which is probably the worst possible scenario. Because now it's Ness by himself, right? Which wouldn't seem that bad because we're just going to use the ATM card and then hopefully he'll just kill us, right? Well, we haven't seen it happen yet. But we have seen him miss a bunch. He's just already being super troll. He missed 3 times. Good old classic mole. Just being absent-minded, just having a good time. Oh, hit Nest. That's pretty good. He might be able to defend from now on. Oh, no, 20 HP, can't defend. Oh, no, he's feeling strange. What happened? Well, the mole can make himself feel strange. Toucan going for the bash. That's so risky. So every single time I go for the bash to knock him out of the confusion, I smash him and kill him. All right, Toucan finally getting the death warp. That was a pretty slow death warp. But it is what it is. Meanwhile, Flesh getting one cultist kill with the Rockin' and the Crow. Now he's just got to bash this cultist. That's some really good luck. And he smashes him, which is worthless, but it feels nice. It feels good to smash things. You know what I'm saying? So Flesh also having a pretty good shack fight. Toucan had a technically better one, but they're both pretty comparable. He's gonna use a hamburger to heal himself to full. Mostly feeling serious remorse and guilt at murdering Paula. So Flesh gonna make his way into the cultist house. Toucan, this is a lot of story. He needs to revive Paula, talk to Lucky, which is this green guy who looks like Luigi, take her home and get and then take her to Bergman Park to get some free money. But so I'm gonna be focusing on Flesh as he makes his way through the cultist house. He's going to be picking up this safety croissant. You have to talk to this dude first, so it's a time loss on not only the present, but talking to that dude. But it is safer, and I don't blame him for being wary of Earthbound. Earthbound is not a kind mistress. She can hurt. She can be mean. So we'll see how this second cultist goes. So we haven't seen a cultist call for help successfully yet, and I don't want to jinx Flesh, so we're hoping that he does not get any successful calls for help. If they flash black, it means they're going to call for help. So we're hoping that doesn't happen. We want them to flash white. You actually kind of want to take a little bit of damage going into Car Painter because you want less health at the end of Car Painter for a better death warp. So Flesh having a really clean second cultist as well. And he gets a ton of health before Car Painter, which is actually good. No, you cannot run from cultists. So cultists are flagged as unrunnable. It's because those cultist fights, they're scripted. They're intended to be scripted. And so what the developers did is instead of figuring out like a way to make just scripted encounters unrunnable, they just said all cultists are unrunnable. You can't run from cultists. That's a ridiculous thing. So if you get into a fight with a cultist, you can't run from it, no matter what. Even if you green swirl. And a green swirl is a preemptive strike, which would normally be a free run. But no, they're scripted. You can't run from them. So we'll see how Flesh's Car Painter goes. We're looking for Lightning Reflex from Car Painter. So far, the first two miss. It's a 1 in 4 chance for a Lightning to hit. It's gonna do the Rockin' on turn 2. I expect 3 straight turns of Rockins here. Actually, he should have Rockin' turn 1. Actually, no, I'm wrong. This is good. I missed Car Painter. That sucks. So he might be saving those psychic points for healing just in case Car Painter goes bad. Car Painter can waste a lot of your time if he doesn't hit with those lightnings. Flesh, I think muscle memory said he had to heal, but I think he looked at his health. Oh, he healed on a lightning turn. So like I said, Car Painter's scripted. So he's always going to do the same turns. He's going to life up and then hit next. He's going to bash in the next turn. So you should really be aware of how Car Painter works. He will always follow a turn where he hits you with a lightning. Always. Flesh having really bad luck though. Going to use a life up just to keep himself topped off. This is probably why he kept those psychic points just for this scenario in particular. Car Painter, that's 1 reflect. This might be enough. It is. So Flesh with a pretty slow Car Painter in terms of just Car Painter not complying, not giving him what he needs, and it's real unfortunate. But Flesh played it really solid, really safe. The only thing he could have done better is just to make sure he understands how Car Painter works. Car Painter is lightning, heal, hit, lightning, shield, hit. In that order and forever. So healing on a lightning turn is worthless because you know you're not going to get hit. But he got bad luck and he still played to the best of his ability. Flesh played that really well. Toucan still with a really sizable lead though. So Toucan got his free money from Everdread. You get some free money. It's a bunch of money. And he's going to give that free money to the manager here to free the Runway 5 from their contract prison. So we'll see. They'll see them come into the office. And also, Toucan's going to be doing a photo skip. So there's things in this game. If you notice on Flesh, when Flesh died to Ant, I never mentioned it, but a photo man came down and took a nice picture of me. There's a bunch of spots in the game where a weird dude spins down and takes your photograph and is like, hell yeah, it's time for a photo. Well, we don't want that because it wastes 20 seconds. So walking out of Chaos Theater here, if you hold right and slide across the exit, you skip the photo trigger. He's gonna be walking around you. You'll see him do kind of a little roundabout walk there. Oh, he walked a little too far to talk to that dude, but very, very nicely done. And then he's gonna get into this bus and he's on his way to Threed. So we'll see how Flesh's death warp goes. Flesh still has to drop the teddy bear and other equipment and stuff. He's probably gonna do that before the mole, like right before it. It's really important that you don't forget to drop the teddy bear though, because the teddy bear, the way the teddy bears work is they have enemies have a 75% chance to target the teddy bear with their attacks, as opposed to your party. They're meant as a protection for you. But in the case of a death warp, you want to die. So 92 HP, that's a little high. We'll see how this goes. So he's gonna be using the ATM card with Ness and bashing with Paula. Paula has such low offense because she's level 1. She has 2 offense. So we bash with Paula because if he ever confuses himself like he does now, Paula's going to hit him and smack him out of the confusion. And that's the advantage of doing that. It's also the fastest possible menu we can do in that scenario. So it serves a dual purpose. Unfortunately, Paula missed. Party not having a good time with this mole. He still hit Ness though, even through the confusion. So that's pretty good. He's one step closer to having somebody die. We'll see who he hits next. Hit Ness again. That's what you want. That's what you want to see. Ness is always the tough one to kill. Paula's real easy. Paula dies just getting tickled on. We'll see if he can get more hits. Hey, all right, Ness is dead. So here in this situation, if Paula's alive, you auto fight. Oh, Flesh, you're making me so proud right now. So happy. That smash, unfortunately, is not going to get him out of the confusion. But the auto fight is the fastest possible thing. It takes away the battle menuing and just turns it into this miss fest, unfortunately. But he's doing the right thing. He's playing this as well as he can. The mole is just being a jerk. And there, finally, the mole kills her, and she gets that one last smash off as a revenge. Toucan in a graveyard. Why is he in a graveyard? Well, he has to go to the top of this graveyard and trigger this zombie little cutscene. You see the zombies, spooky, right? Well, he stares into your soul, and this guy just looks you over. He doesn't care about you. But there's enemies in the graveyard, and they can be pretty annoying and pincer you, and that fly does not want to go away. So Toucan's trying to despawn him, get him out of the way. He could have maybe tried to get past those trash cans because they have a pretty small aggro radius, but he decided to play it safe and despawn, which I agree with. I think trying to pass them would be something you'd do if you were behind or like really desperate for a time save. But playing it safe, losing the time to despawn it, and that's really smart. So Toucan follows a strange lady of unknown origins into this hotel, and the music's all crazy. Well, that's because there's zombies in here. But she has her own pet dog. The dog doesn't gang up on you. It's because he's well trained. So Flesh doing the story triggers. He takes Paula home. Her dad has been worried sick about her. So this is one of the story triggers he has to hit. He has to hit this one and then walk into Bergman Park and receive free money. So Toucan starting Winters, he's getting into the last stretch of the run here. After Winters is you return to Threed with Jeff, who is this party member we will be controlling right now. And then you go and fight Boogie Tent. So Toucan coming up on the last section of the run. Flesh still has to watch the Runaway 5 show and take the bus to Threed. So unfortunately, he's still a bit farther behind than he'd probably like to be. But Winters is still, there's a lot of RNG in Winters, and there's not a lot you can control with it. So if Toucan gets some really bad RNG, you can give Flesh some time to catch up, but it's going to be really tough, in my opinion. It'll be really tough. But I think Flesh has been playing a good race so far. I haven't seen Flesh do anything like, oh, that's a noob mistake, or that's this or that. It's just the game's just not really giving him much to work with. The Ant Death put him really far behind, and unfortunately, from there, it's been pretty rough. The Car Painter took a long time too, and through no faults of Flesh, I think he played pretty well. Toucan. So this section in Winters, you talk to this guy. His name is Maxwell, and he gives you. Maxwell's a jerk. Let's be real. Okay, so first of all, Max is like, "Oh, you want to get stuff from the locker room? Here, take this key." I guess it's a little bent though. I mean, who could have realized it's so bent? Not me. Definitely not me. So then you go into this room, and then you go and try to use the key, And then it's bent. It doesn't fit into the hole. Oh, what a surprise, right? That was a little bent. Oh, man, that sucks, right? And he goes like, haha, it didn't work, right? That's what I thought. Like, just give me your invention. Just be like, hey, this is a good invention. And it opens up locked things. You just gave me a lockpick invention. Just give me it. Don't be a jerk about it. I hate him for doing that. Like, it's a real stupid way to do that. Like, oh, I guess it was pretty bad, right? What about my cool machine that, like, unlocks it? Isn't that cool? Shut up. So, Toucan dropping the broken spray can here. That's for a tiny, tiny time save. Because normally... So, Jeff has the ability to fix broken items while he's sleeping. And we don't really need that in this run. So, he's dropping the broken spray can to skip a text box when we stay in when we sleep in a tent later on. So he picks up this pack of bubble gum, and he's going to give it to this monkey here. This is the notorious Bubble Monkey. So Bubble Monkey in a casual playthrough is probably one of the most adorable things in the casual playthrough. You look at him; he's got so much charm. Just in the way he walks, there's charm. Look at him stop suddenly, and then catch up with you. Right? That's adorable. Well, in a speed run, that's deadly. In a speed run, the thing is, Bubble Monkey still counts as part of your party. So when an enemy touches Bubble Monkey while he's adorably stopping suddenly, it starts a fight, which is not what we want. We want to just be able to walk through. It's actually pretty easy to avoid certain enemies if it was just Jeff, but unfortunately, Bubble Monkey likes to stop a lot. And you notice how much he's stopping, and you're realizing, wow, he's stopping quite a bit. And you're right. He's stopping all the time. It's real stupid. So we stay in this tent. Staying in this tent is the trigger for starting this next Tessie cutscene. Tessie, as the name kind of sounds, is a lot like the Loch Ness Monster, except it's Tessie instead of Nessie. And Tessie's the best. If you haven't seen Tessie, I'm not going to even say anything else except that Tessie's the best. Just look at the smile. Look at the smile on Tessie's face. That's all you need to look at. Look at the smile that exists. Oh, look at Tessie. It's so beautiful. You got the leaves rolling, that smile, that unmoving smile. Just constant. I'm mesmerized. Thank you for the MS Paint Beasts in the chat. I appreciate it quite a bit. So Flesh making his way into 3. We'll see how his graveyard goes. Toucan. If you only see people saying MS Paint Beast, it's because they're using Franker Face Z. Yeah, it's a Franker Face Z emote. If you don't have it, but if you know a Franker Face Z, I assume you probably use Better Switch TV. Unfortunately, it's up to you if you want to see it. It is a great emote though. So Toucan, he's going to be getting off Tessie shortly. I kind of want to see how Flesh's graveyard goes. So he's just arrived into 3, and we'll see how he plays graveyard. Graveyard's a place that can be rough. It's you really have to be able to know how to use terrain correctly in 3 graveyard. And what I mean by that is because enemies can get caught on terrain just like you can. So you can get by a lot of enemies you wouldn't think you'd normally be able to by just getting them caught on the gravestones and stuff. Flesh doing a despawn. This might... Okay, it worked. Good despawn. Toucan coming up on the worst enemy in the game. So the reason I say he's the worst enemy is because you have no control over this fight. We'll see if Toucan gets to experience hell or if this god is merciful. Because if this guy wants to hit you 3 times in a row, there's nothing you can do about it. You're just dead. Also, Bubble Monkey knocks him out of it. He confuses himself. You're like, oh, cool, he's confused. And then Bubble Monkey knocks him out of the confusion. You're like, thanks, Bubble Monkey. You're helping a lot. Toucan actually getting good luck for here, though. You need 3 hits from Jeff for him to die. And the Protoplasm is just making himself strange. This is actually fantastic luck. So, oftentimes, the Protoplasm will just hit you 3 times, and you'll die. You have 30 HP, he does 10 damage on average. But that Protoplasm was really nice. He just confused himself over and over again. We'll see if we can do a duck skip here. That's a pretty good duck skip setup. We'll see if he gets it. No. So he may have walked a little bit too far to the left and kind of piqued the duck's interest. It's kind of, there's intricacies to doing duck skip, and they're mostly probably placebo effects and stuff like that. But I feel like if he had walked along the right side of the little wall there, he probably would have had a better shot. Because the duck kind of moves just aimlessly until you're close enough for an X amount of time. And so by making himself closer to the duck, I think it caused him to move closer. And you're going to be seeing an attempt at second proto skip here. But, oh man, look, Monkey stop. What? Oh man, that's like, I warned you about the fact that Monkey sucks. That's why. That's why right there. So Toucan 11 HP, it looks like he's in danger, but you start with a boiled egg. That cookie's worthless. He's probably just going to use the boiled egg and keep moving. He should use the boiled egg and keep moving. He should use the boiled egg. Here it is. All right, so... yeah, I told you about monkeys, bro. I warned you about stairs. All right, so the last stretch of the run, Pond Cave. Pond Cave is a place that you can either... you can play very safe and just hope for no enemies. This first room's got enemies, so he's going to despawn it. If you're me and you're a crazy person, you're going to try and stutter these enemies. But it's very difficult to stutter this first room. I want to see everyone try and get good enough at stuttering to do it. But I don't blame people for being wary of it because it is very risky and depends on very good execution. So Toucan's going to be despawned until this first area is empty, and then he's probably just going to do the same thing here. Oh, he's going for that stutter. Oh, he thought it was just a single slug, but now he's fighting a mouse too. So mice have like 205 guts. What does that mean? Well, guts is the stat that determines how much you smash. Like that. Almost on cue. Mice will smash you almost every single time. It's very rare that they don't. They can not smash you and they do 1 damage, which is what you want. But they very often smash because they have an obscene amount of guts. So Toucan didn't even bother despawn. He just wanted to go for the fight. I think he thought it was a single slug, but the mouse joined. So may have just been an oversight, or maybe he just decided he didn't want to despawn there anymore. You're probably going to see Toucan go for a stutter here. He doesn't like the mouse up top. It was a pretty clear entry to the middle, but maybe he's not feeling too confident on a stutter, so he's just going to stutter along the bottom here. All right, some good stuttering. Meanwhile, Flesh starting the first part of Winters. So that mushroom, you can't stutter mushrooms. Mushrooms have a small aggro radius, and if you get in it, then they just walk towards you. And so he knows he can't get past this mushroom. And he needs to despawn it and have it go away. He doesn't want to risk stuttering anything over here either. And so he's probably going to despawn until this is empty. This can waste a lot of time. Is it enough time for Flesh to catch up? It would have to be an obscene amount of despawns. But Toucan get into that first area. Here's the second area. Not opting to stutter through it. He's just going for a quick despawn. He's probably going to try and despawn this last one too, or at least get it in a spot he can stutter. But one quick despawn, he got the good luck he needs. And then this last area, you just got to hope it's clear. This first area is clear. This is the second one coming up. Both areas clear. That's really good luck. You pick up this bottle rocket. It's going to be for Boogie Tent. And then we're going to use this pack of bubble gum to get to the top. We can't get that rope, but guess who can? It's our boy. It's the boy wonder himself, Bubble Monkey. And he lowers the rope for you. Yes, Toucan can still die a bunch on Boogie Tent. There's that. So Toucan's despawning that mushroom because he thinks it's unsafe. That was actually far enough away that he could have made that. But Toucan wasn't confident. So instead of risking it, he's just going to go for this one. He knows they're stuck in the walls, so he's just going to go for it. He would have been fine the first time, but he said he hasn't practiced. So he may be feeling a little rest, and he kind of forgot what the actual aggro radius is. He would have been fine had he gone for that, though. Meanwhile, Flesh going to be triggering the Tessie cutscene now, and he'll be approaching Brick Road very soon. Toucan now, he just has to finish up Winters. There's no Cave Boys. I was going to mention that. Cave Boys are enemies that can spawn there. But your natural movement speed, as far as like the overworld movement speed, is faster than them. So as long as you're ahead of them, they can never catch you. All right, Toucan entering the Skyrunner. This Skyrunner cutscene takes about 2 minutes and 45 seconds to complete. So in the meantime, we're going to look at Flesh's Brick Road while Toucan approaches the final stretch of the run. There's just one more thing to do, but there is roughly about a 6 to 7 minute difference between these two runners. Yes, that is an accurate estimate. The Skyrunner cutscene is kind of meant to foreshadow where you're going to be later. It says, hey, look at this town. And you're like, what's that town? If you've never played the game. That's Forside. That's a place we won't be seeing in this run. But it's a place that you'll be seeing later if you choose to play this game casually. You'll be there later. Meanwhile, Flesh, you'll see the runners, they'll walk down left and then down and right. And as opposed to walking like just straight down, that's because they're despawning in a 100% spawn plate. What happens is that you move down left and the 100% spawn plate is on the bottom right of the screen. Well, for whatever reason, enemies on the bottom right of the screen like that spawn plates on the bottom right can't spawn. It's real stupid. It makes no sense, but that's just how some weird programming quirk. Flesh having a pretty good protoplasm too. We're not seeing the malevolent god that is protoplasm give any trouble whatsoever. He's just been super nice. We'll see if Flesh can get duck skip. That's not a duck skip setup. Duck was super high up. He just said no. How is Forside skipped again? Well, Forside's later in the run, so Forside, you can only skip Forside if you were doing a glitched run. It's the reason it's not that we skipped Forside, is that the story has it that Ness and Paula are trapped in Threed and they call out to Jeff. Paula uses her psychic powers to call to Jeff and get her there. The reason we're not doing Forside is because this run ends upon acquisition of the fly honey after Boogie Tent. It's a partial run category. It's a race category. The glitchless run is currently about four hours long on average. There's PBs that are under 4 hours, like pretty significantly under 4 hours, but this just for the races, we only go up to Boogie 10. This is about 25% of the run. It's cool, Dark Light, not a big deal. So Toucan gonna be using the bad key machine, which Maxwell gave us. We call Maxwell a jerk. This is one of some things Toucan needs to be aware of. So if he leaves this prison and there's an enemy there, if it's a fly, he needs to despawn it. Those enemies were way off to the side, so it doesn't have to be. It's not a problem. Those are the words I'm trying to say. You pick up the teddy bear because you don't want Boogie Tent to kill Jeff. You kind of want Boogie Tent to kill Paula in this category, though. But only in this category, because it does not save time in any other context. But Toucan's will be fighting Boogie Tent. The strat for Boogie Tent is you're going to be using a rocket with Ness and a big bottle rocket with Jeff. So big bottle rockets, their damage is based on... Oof! So one of the things to note is that if you couldn't see that guy there before, it's a good chance he's there just based on the fact that those guys like to spawn in twos. And so the fact that one puppet was visible and the other one wasn't was probably a good indicator that there was some enemies sneaking there. But Toucan, I think he was kind of wary, but he wasn't 100% sure. He went for it, and unfortunately a Smiling Sam came jumping out. He did the right thing, though. Paula gained some levels from that. So now Paula is a part of the mix as far as the strats are concerned. So he's going to rock him with Ness, fire with Paula, and shoot a big bottle rocket with Jeff. The big bottle rocket can do anywhere from 90 damage to 750. It's pretty variable. 99 and 325. What a jerk. But fire makes this a lot safer. So it actually doesn't matter that he hit for so little, because the fire damage from Paula is going to help make up the rest of that. So this might kill based on math. Yes. And there we go. That's his Boogie Tent was clean. He had a fight before, but that seals the deal for Toucan. He only has this level up sequence to go, and then once he picks up the fly honey, it's GG. So an unfortunate ant death for Flesh early on. kind of just it pulled him so far away from Toucan. It was real hard to recover. But to be honest, he did a good job of playing everything else. It was just the Ant Death that really, I think this would have been a lot closer race had he not died to Ant. He had a pretty good, decent Pawn Cave Flesh. But overall, it's I think it was a good race. It's unfortunate that the Ant Death happened, but you have a 1:10:11 from Toucan, which is a very, very solid time. And Toucan takes the win. Flesh now, he's about to enter the Skyrunner. We'll see how his Boogie Tent sequence goes. So he's got roughly three or so minutes. I mean, I wasn't looking at the. I can't see your. I just looked at the SRL. So we got Flesh's audio. So Flesh doing the Skyrunner sequence. Like I said, Skyrunner sequence takes about 2 minutes and 45 seconds. It's a nice bathroom break. If you're looking for an RPG speedrun that has bathroom breaks, Earthbound's a great one. It's got a couple in there. This is probably the third longest cutscene in the game. Oh, a little gold winner next to Toucan. Congratulations to Toucan. I think both of these racers played fantastic. But bad RNG ended up winning in the end in terms of how Flesh got so far behind. I think Flesh played very well. And Flesh is a new runner too. I think Flesh just started joining the tournament and started practicing from there. He has a pretty decent PB. And I think he played very solid. So I'm really impressed by the level of play from Flesh. The full game, a full game run would be about 4 hours. It'd be about 4.5 hours on average. So doing the full game, we could do that, and we kind of have a glitchless series. It won't be featured on Speed Gaming, but we do have one in the works as far as a tournament for that is concerned. But Boogie Percent's a nice clean race category. It's it's short enough to. It's about a quarter of the game, and it's got a definitive stopping point, and is not super long. It's just a little bit above, an hour, depending on the type of luck you get. So it's our race category. It's our Paladin percent, our Magus percent. Other RPGs have similar race categories, and we felt that it was appropriate we have our own as well. And I think Boogie Percent's a great one of that. Showcases a lot of the cool stuff about the run. And ends right before Threed Cave, which is a real terrible spot that would to include. The number one Threed. There's no better Threed Cave than Threed Cave. It's the best cave in Threed for sure. All right, we'll see what happens with Flesh here. We'll see if he has to despawn. No, nothing up there. So he's gonna pick up the teddy bear, like I said, and he's gonna make his way down to Boogie Tent. All right, we'll see how this fight goes. Rockin', he uses the freeze. The freeze does about 6 damage. It's pretty worthless. But freeze has a chance to solidify it, which will give you a free turn on the next turn. If this doesn't 325, I think they both got 325 exactly. No solidify. Solidify is a 1 in 4 chance for it to happen. So it's mostly like a long shot type thing, but it would prevent Boogie Tent from killing someone on the next turn if it were to miss. But the reason we pick up that bottle rocket is for this exact scenario where the big bottle rocket doesn't kill. And we need to squeak out some extra damage because Paul is still level 1 and doesn't have any real damage to give to us. So the bottle rocket ends up cleaning it up. Flesh having a really clean boogie fight as a result. And he's going to be finishing with probably about a 115 or so, 115-20. One 15-22. I was off by 2 seconds. Drat. Oh, he shouldn't get into a fight. This pumpkin kid. This pumpkin kid is gonna. this spooky pumpkin kid. Good job to both runners. Really good stuff from both of them. Good game to Toucan. Congratulations on the win. But also, I do want to say good stuff to Flesh as well. Flesh, I think, played that very well, and deserves recognition for that. I think Flesh is he's only getting better. I think he's got a pretty decent time, and he's done very well. So Toucan won this race, but Flesh not out of it yet. There's still more races left in the group stages, so Flesh has a chance to still make it out of his group and into the bracket stages. And if he plays like this, it could possibly be that could possibly be the case. Toucan just having fun. I think he's doing the rest of the run. Maybe he wants to show off 3 cave. You guys want to see 3 cave? Okay. All right, we got a new race here. Toucan getting cut off. No 3 cave showing. 3 cave is a terrible place. You won't want to see it. You have to experience it for yourself. No peeksies. You will not be missed. Well then. All right, so this race is going to be Uko versus Zelda Rock's Xander. So I am going to... Oh, they're starting right now. During this opening cutscene, I'm going to just give me like 20 seconds to drink some water. My voice is it's getting a little shot, but I will be commentating very, very astutely. You sound great with words right now.